Gabriel, all protocols duly observed. Good day, everyone. My name is Kunle Lawal. I'm the Executive Director of the Electoral Nigeria, as introduced earlier. PowerPoint. Okay. The topic today is understanding the legislature at grassroots level in Nigeria. The problem is most of us do not even know there's legislature at the grassroots level. There are different conversations. Everybody thinks the job of the legislature is constituency projects. Non-constitutional, usually the conversation. It's an executive function. And most of the time we forget that these people actually represent the smallest political unit, which is known as a ward, but not the weakest actually. Most of us, how do I put it, don't even participate in the elections that bring them up. Yes, yesterday I stated 7% participate at local government elections, but that 7% is only measurable when you're looking at Nigeria as a whole. If I'm to complex it down to somewhere like NIGGSA, which has a FAC allocation of approximately 968 million naira a month, an internal generated revenue of about 3 billion a month. Less than 2.5% participate in local government elections. That's supposed to be the most intelligent local government in Nigeria, or so said. When you look at Alimosho that has 1.8 billion FAC allocation, highest in local government in Nigeria, nobody cares. We all don't care, but want Nigeria to be better. Well, I would say you should care. We can move to the first slide. So, I'll be going on. So, I'd like to start with a quote. The health of a democracy is measured by the knowledge of its people. This is the basis and the function of what the Electoral College does entirely. We all think we know politics. Yesterday, I think I stated we're approximately 86% politically illiterate. And everybody will want to argue that if I decide to throw one baby question here, and I leave it open, and I even tag it to the giveaway, I'm sure nobody can mention it. If I just playfully asked, what is the oldest political party in Nigeria? I'm sure nobody can answer that. The oldest existing political party, I don't think anyone can answer that, or can anyone answer it? The room is quiet. Why now? Why is the room quiet? You can use Google. Let's really test this. You said?
What is the giveaway for?
What? PDP.
What is
You said? PDP. NCS. NCNC. They're not existing now. It has to be existing now. Yes, it has to be existing. I said oldest existing political party. SDP. Let's not take this too long because I have a short time. It's actually the PRP, People's Redemption Party, formed by Aminu Kano in 1978. It's still existing, yeah. So, let's continue. So I said the basis of a political, the health of a democracy is measured by the knowledge of its people. So you have all these conversations, and these are things, and I'll say we've chosen not to care about the country. One of the things that hurts me with Nigerians is that we love to say Nigeria is not working. I agree. It's not working as it should. But how Nigerian are you? You are a Nigerian and you don't bother about your constitution. You are a Nigerian and you don't care who goes into office. Yet you want to enjoy the things that people have worked for, that you get in other countries. How in our one take to have? And we don't ask ourselves these questions too much. So the purpose of this is to demystify the role of local legislature in the democratic structure, and of course equip everyone. I thought some councillors would be here and I would have had a great conversation, but it seems none of them. I don't know. Are they here? If you are here, this is going to be interesting. And also equip citizens, especially with knowledge on functions, powers, and limitations of local executive council. So next, would be what is the legislature at the grassroots. It's also known as the local government legislative council, comprised of councillors elected from wards within the LGA. It is always presided by a leader of the house elected by the councillors. That means their tenure is basically typically 3 years, but it may vary by state. As Dr. Joe Abba rightly pointed yesterday, their term is dictated by the governor or the commissioner of local government affairs, not the constitution. It's which is a variable in the constitution or an error in the constitution. Next slide. So what are the core functions of local legislature? Lawmaking. Now, these laws that they make must not contradict the constitution or the state laws. But you know, Nigeria, we always ask, how laws still concern us? Let me try and break a brief situation on how laws concern me. There was a time in Nigeria when the act for the NIRC, as the Electricity Regulatory Commission, didn't allow generation of electricity more than megawatts. If you generated more than 1 megawatt, you must pass it back through to the mainstream to be distributed across Nigeria. Now, ordinarily altering that 1 to 10 has allowed states now generate their own electricity without passing it back to the national grid. That's how important lawmaking is. And it can be important if we break it down to simple things. But as usual, we do not care. And this is not only the people in elected office. Come on, we have speakers that have not read the constitution or know their state laws. We have councillors that don't. let's not go there. Say too many things. So the next job is oversight. Now that's monitoring the local electorate. Now most of us wonder what oversight will mean. Big English. Let me break it down. Now then they look budgets. Meaning local government chairman no supposed pass budget without them looking at it or without them approving it. But these days local government budget is passed by governors. It's true now. Or if you want to say your state is different, it's not. And that's the problem with this. And you know, when you look at the Nigerian problem, the critical question is, as long as the people do not know, politicians can do and undo. Don't allow anybody to deceive you. Politicians are not that smart. They cannot break the laws that much. The only reason they can break the laws is because you do not know the law. Or you do not understand how the system works. So they'll come and tell you X, X, Y, 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 X. You now say, that's so a bill. So, like I think I said this yesterday, the problem in Nigeria is that we have a political culture outside the laws and forming the policies that we have in Nigeria. We have a political culture. And within that political culture, there are funny things. We believe a small party cannot win an election. Who told you that? It has been proved many times wrong. But you believe that. So you expect anybody that is coming to come and ask you that he wants your mandate in office. The person should come with Jeep, 90 essays. That's when people think he's worth it. If I come today and I'm wearing slippers and I say how far, and I really care about the people, you've seen me care, you've seen me work, you've seen me do things. Because I did not come with which Jeep should I use? Land Cruiser, so that's the ones politicians like. You will not vote for me. That's what we are. So don't come here and say Nigeria is bad. You are the one making it bad first. Back to this thing. So of course, the budget approval, there's approval and amendment of then representation. Their job is to represent you. And not represent you meaning, okay, I represent, I'm trying to think of a place. Okay, let me use, I represent Legislature. I know that one. It's still on the road, so I know that one. I represent Legislature. And that's all they do. Representation is actually listening to you and taking what you want back to the committee and sitting down with other councillors and local government chairmen and making a decision for you. Representation is not that you have somebody there. You can as well have a stick there since they don't talk to you. And that's the truth about it. And then they're also supposed to provide checks and balances on ensuring accountability of executive actions. The situation happened in what states? Ogun State. And it was a chairman that refused to remit money back to the state government. I didn't call the governor's name before everybody starts speaking out. And then there was dilly-dally. But you see, politicians are smart. They know how to use the real situation when it's warranted. In recent time, that's the first time councillors have taken out a local government chairman. They have the power. But they didn't take him out for the right reasons. They took him out because he refused to remit a part of his budget to the Commissioner of Local Governments. But guess what? They activated the councillors' real action. That means the politicians actually know the law. So guess why everything happens? Me and you don't care. That's why it happens. Next slide. That's why it happens. Now, what councillors can do and what they cannot. Of course, they can make laws on sanitation, local markets, motor parks, which is jurisdiction as guaranteed by the Constitution of Nigeria. They can impeach a non-performing LG chairperson. You didn't need that fracas that you people did in Ali Mosho. Where that thing happened? Ali Mosho? You didn't need that fracas now. You don't want to say it because I'm talking about Lagos State. People think you are so advanced that you are not. So impeach a non-performing LG with process, remember, in bracket, with process. I do not say just carry the chairman out of his office or burn his car. Please, I do not support such things. They also should be able to, or should be, and I know I'm using should, that's because it doesn't happen, approve projects and budgets within the LGA. What they cannot do is make laws that contradict state or federal laws, control state or national resources, and intervene in police or national security matters. But there's, like Dr. Joaba said yesterday, this is a contradiction of the Constitution, because again, somewhere in the Constitution, it clearly states that security is vested in the local governments. So if they can't intervene in police matters, what is the security that is invested in them? But that's a conversation for the Constitution. So now, next slide. So what are the challenges of local legislative councils? The first one would be political interference of state actors, which is allowed by us. Lack of autonomy, often under the influence of state assemblies. How that one happens, I don't even understand, because they're totally separate. It's like the National Assembly interfering in Lagos State House of Assembly. Oh, sorry, oops. National Assembly just interfered in Rivers State's House of Assembly, so I can't really say that. but let's continue for conversation. So, no public awareness of councillors' rules. Now, this is critical. We don't know councillors' rules. If we do not know, how do we demand they should be accountable to the work that they do? Then, very poor remuneration and capacity. Councillors are basically, I don't want to use a bad word, errand boys of every other political unit. And now there's a difference between appointed and executive. So councillors are errand boys to appointed and executive. But they are appointed and elected. But councillors are elected. Meaning a commissioner is not supposed to be able to send the councillor. He's an elected representative. But we know our commissioners. A lot of us do it too now. They just give you small essay. Next thing, your work is to be bullying everybody else because your essay inside AC of governor's office. AC don't blow you small. Then you know when governor cuts his head, that's all. You are not doing anything else. You now come and be bullying an elected person in the position. That is outright disrespect to the Nigerian flag and constitution if you do not know. But we've created our political culture now, so we will live with it. So, next slide please. So why the grassroots legislation matters is of course the closest to the people, as we've said. I always say this, that councillors are the first handshake of democracy to the people, because they are in charge of the world is the smallest. So if there's no handshake between you, how can the president even affect your life? Because it has to, so as long as local government does not work, democracy cannot work in Nigeria. And that's the truth. You change president. In short, you should elect one of the prophets of old, wake him up and bring him. Cannot solve Nigeria's problem without the local government. A lot of people shout state police. I was very happy when I looked at Dr. Joe Abba's slide yesterday and I saw local government police because something I've championed. We see it in movies. You see one sheriff in a local town going to go. Then why don't you think that's the way it should work? But no, governors have deceived us. And we are students of governors, whether we like it or not. So governors will tell you, state police, to empower the emperors. But this is not about governors today. So it also builds future political leaders. Now, councillors they are not supposed to be people that have helped us snatch ballot box for 10 years, then we decide to bless them with something. Councillors, if you go to the UK, I have a niece, Kunle Lawal, you can Google her. She became a councillor in the UK. She was councillor of, I think, Thamestead. No, it was Mabel that was councillor of Thamestead, I can't remember. She became a councillor at 16, she was still at university. And she held it till 21 and dropped it and has done quite a lot of work in the Conservative Party in the UK. And a lot of others. Councillors, for those coming in, it's their first, it's supposed to be free to, it has no age restrictions. But in Nigeria, it's to reward the people that snatch ballot box, slap the House of Rep that they wanted to remove, or helped throw out a local government chairman one day. Those are people who reward with councillors. Now, they also tackle immediate community needs, that's sanitation, roads, and markets. And these are immediate. But all of us do not care. Market people don't even know this next time. So I'd like to call to action. First, we must reorient our thinking. The grassroots legislature is not inferior. It is foundational, and these people do not have a choice but to know the laws that operate in where they are. We are all to blame for this. What kind of Nigeria do you want to hand to your children? I was born into a Nigeria, even though people like Dr. Joe Abba, my elders, enjoyed more than I did. But at least water was coming out. LEA was still people in my set that went to LEA, and I myself that went to a private school, you cannot differentiate our English. But now, I don't need to talk about it. We also should encourage youth participation in world politics. If you notice something with our young people, I don't know whether it's the name in Nigeria, we like titles, and we haven't done anything. I don't know whether it's the name honorable that excites us. The first young person, what do you want to run for? And because of what I do, I meet a lot of them. What do you want to run for? House of Rep. Yeah? Wait, calm down now, guy. Calm down some more. We love the name honorable. But what's so honorable about the political positions we aspire for? We want to be called honorable so that we can be dishonorable to Nigerian citizens. That's the truth now. Don't you want to carry G-class and pour water on your old schoolmates so that they know you're a big boy? That's what we do now. But anyway, we also need to promote policy knowledge over popularity. Hey, it's popular, it's popular. And do you know what? So I didn't tell you. The other day we were talking about running for office, me and a few others. I've run for office, by the way. It's not a big deal. But we were talking about running for office, considering, Dr. Joe Abba, sorry sir, I'm mentioning your name too much. Dr. Joe Abba's set doesn't want to hand over to my set. They did governor when they were 40, they don't want to hand over to our own set. We'll take it by force. We are making noise, so we haven't done anything. But, we're having this conversation. And do you know what one of my friends said? He said, Kunle, he's running in Kogi, and he said, Kunle, I need a scandal. Do you know he's right? Let's leave the Barack Obama ideology we have in Nigeria. He's right, he needs a scandal. Well, in the history of Kogi, you actually need a scandal. I didn't cut anybody's table, but you need a scandal. Some people have climbed tree, some people have come down from tree, some people have put cast on their neck in EFCC. That's what makes us popular in Nigeria. A scandal. We laugh, but it's the truth. Say, come, do you know, you need a scandal. Once you have the scandal, you are popular to people. They'll say, hey, we are voting because it's popular. Because once you have the scandal, then all you need to do is win the primaries of the two parties Nigerians love the most. Okay, sorry, they become 4 actually. So I won't mention the gangster 4, and all of them rig election. I don't think anyone is better than the other. So the gangster 4. Once you win one of the tickets of the gangster 4 and you have a scandal, you have won in politics. See it like? No. So anyway, last slide. My final thoughts is that if we are able to build from the base, the top will not collapse. The reason the top collapses is because we do not build from the base. We do not build the foundation up. We are the only country in the world where we think that electing a president is like when we are building a house. We'll first install the chandeliers before we do the foundation. Not very intelligent democratically. Then we need to make the local legislature matter again. And this is key. I preach this the most because it's my work. Political literacy must begin where government begins, at the grassroots. I'd like to thank everyone for the time you've taken to listen to me. Thank you.